ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादि पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we are starting Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Today we are not going to cover Gopala Champu. We'll skip that because there is a lot of content to be covered. And it is an important topic also. So therefore we will skip Gopala Champu for this week and then we'll continue from next week. So what so far we have covered in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? We have covered the western and northern sections of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is almost half of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and Mangalacharan verses, and what is Uttama Bhakti. And we discussed the roadmap of Uttama Bhakti or pure Bhakti or Shuddha Bhakti. It has many names. And currently we are discussing about the destruction of anarthas in the path of Uttama Bhakti. It is very important as we sadhakas, we are going through this anartha nivritti phase, and it's going to be helpful for us in the path. Let me see if my audio settings is going on. Right. Okay. So here we discussed this one last week, how the anarthas get destroyed and in different stages of bhakti. We have Shraddha all the way up to Nishtha, Bhava, Prema. And these anarthas are that came about from aparadhas, bhakti practice, sins and piety. They get destroyed at different stages. Most of them, if you look at anarthas that are arising from past pious or sinful activities, they get destroyed during the anishtita bhajan, anishta bhakti. These are quite long stage for many of the sadhakas. So there itself it gets destroyed. This anarthas from offenses continue all the way to bhava prema. So therefore, this is going to be the focus for us, how to destroy the anarthas. So offenses. Offenses are of two types, nama aparadas and seva aparadas. These are aparadas or offenses. Nama, offenses to the holy name, offenses to deity. When you are worshipping the deity, you can commit some offenses. That is seva aparad. Nama aparad, though it says offenses to the holy name, in general, these offenses are to any process of bhakti, to bhakti in general. Nama aparad doesn't mean only to the holy name, but in general to bhakti. Okay. So they are of 10 types. We would have recited this many times in ISKCON, in the morning program. We would read the meanings, English translations of these verses. But these are the original verses which are taken from, I think, Padma Purana. And they give the detail about what are all the offenses that we can commit to holy name or bhakti. So this we should be very careful about avoiding this. So we are going to discuss somewhat detailed uh, explanations into this. So the first one is Satam Ninda. The verse goes like this. Satam Ninda Namna Paramam Aparadham Vitanute Yatah Kyatim Yatam Katamu Sagate Tadvigarham. So these are the word for word meanings. Satam Ninda. Ninda, the criticism of devotees. Ninda to the devotees. And this ninda to the devotees is a great offense to the holy name. Parama aparad. It provides great offense to holy name. Yatah kyati yatam. Katamu sahate tad vigraham. How can the holy name tolerate offenses to the devotees? Because the devotees are spreading the glories of the holy name. The holy name attains its glories in this world by the preaching of the devotees. If the devotees don't preach, nobody will get to know about holy name. Then the glories are hidden. So the devotees go out and preach, and therefore the holy name attains its glories. They preach, they sing, they induce others to sing, they give teachings. All these are efforts to establish the glory of the holy name. Therefore, when the devotees are doing this, how can the holy name tolerate that? Just like I have a PR person who helps in establishing my publicity. Somebody criticizes that person, how will I tolerate that? That person is very important for me. The criticism of devotees is the greatest offense against the holy name. How on earth can the holy name tolerate the criticism of devotees by whom it attained fame? Katam u means it's a little bit an anger interjunction. Huh? So word you would say in English with anger like, damn it, how on earth, for God's sake, how can it tolerate like that? Huh? So this ooh is expression of anger because it's a very serious offense. So we should be careful about avoiding this. The name itself is not a material sound. It's not that Hare Krishna, when I say it's just some sound that's coming out. It is a conscious entity, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. It is Krishna himself. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he says, Abhinnatvat nama naminoho. The name and the person possessing the name are non-different. Both of them are same. So, when we chant the holy name, the name gets pleased or Krishna gets pleased. Name and Krishna are non-different. So we can interchangeably use that. So when we chant the name gets pleased. So therefore, when we commit an offense to the name gets displeased. And the main offense is that criticizing the devotees. When we criticize the devotees, any of the devotees, the name will not be pleased with that. There are many stories in Bhagavad Puran. We see Maharaj Chitraketu, how he became Vritrasura because of an apparent offense to Lord Shiva. And we have Gajendra. He was King Indradyumna and he became Gajendra because of an offense. Ajamila, on the other hand, because he didn't get he didn't commit any offense, he quickly got delivered just by naming his son Narayana. Daksha, he committed offense to Lord Shiva, and then his head was cut off, and he had to suffer through multiple births. So the whole Bhagavatam, in one sense, is attempting to teach us the gravity of this Vaishnava aparadha. So we need to be careful of that. Not just Vaishnava aparadha, in general, other aparadhas also. So the main process for this Kali Yuga is chanting of the holy name. That is the Yuga Dharma. If we want to benefit from that, we need to be careful about avoiding these offenses. Now, here, two words are very important, and they are present in the first line, Satam Ninda or Sādhu Nindā, Satam Ninda, criticism of devotees. So, question comes is, who are the devotees it is talking about? Are we talking about devotees like Shukadeva Goswami and Srila Prabhupada, like that? Or are we talking about um, a devotee who just came to the temple for the first time? Which devotee are we talking about? And what is criticism? What is ninda? What involves criticism? What is ninda? So these two words are very important to know. Other things are just explanation. These two are very important. So we will be delving into detail about what is criticism and who are all the devotees. And in that first, we are going to look at the devotees, the sadhu, sat. Who are they? How do we estimate a sadhu? First, we need to know who is not a sadhu. That is the first thing. Who is not a sadhu? So we have a Mayavadi. A Mayavadi is not a sadhu. Sometimes they may be in sannyasi dress because that's very common. But when they speak Mayavadi philosophy, that is, the um, Lord's form is material, and he is just under the control of Maya. When they speak like that, they are actually committing offense to the Lord. So therefore, they are not sadhus. Those are not the sadhus we are talking about, because we have the general idea. Sadhu means one who wears a saffron dress and then walks around. No, these are not the sadhus we are talking about. Nirishwaravadi, the atheists, generally we know that is very clear. Atheists are not sadhus. But there are some people who, on the garb of spiritual philosophy, they will be saying that there is no God. You are God. Everybody is God. We avoid that. Avoid them also. They are also not sadhus. And the third one is dharmadvaji. Those persons who may advertise themselves as protectors of dharma. We are there to protect dharma. But then internally, they'll be doing so many things, nonsensical things. Some politicians are like that. They may be advertising themselves as protectors of dharma, only to know that after some time, they'll switch from one party to another party, and then they will change their whole ideology just to fit into that party. So they are not the sadhus that we are talking about. They may advertise themselves like a very soft-hearted person, and he listens, he tolerates like that, but internally they are just culprits. What parameters do we need to consider while estimating a person is a sadhu or not? We should not be considering that this person sings very nicely kirtan. His musical skills are amazing. When he sings, just amazing kirtan comes out. The material considerations of that should not be considered. Or when he performs kirtan, there's so many people appear and then they just appreciate. That's not the parameter to estimate a sadhu. Skillful in giving class. Some people give very nice class. They become a very nice orator, and then when they speak, people get mesmerized. That is not a parameter to estimate a sadhu. I am not saying a sadhu cannot be a best kirtanier or sadhu cannot be skillful in giving class. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying these are not the parameters to estimate a sadhu. The sadhu can be very poor in giving class also. Or he may be poorly performing kirtan, may not have a good sense of raga, tala, whatever it is. But he may be a sadhu. So we should not use these parameters to consider whether this person is a sadhu or not. Varnashrama, though these days we don't follow Varnashrama, but still sometimes we have this idea that um, a sannyasi devotee is higher than a grihastha devotee or a brahmachari devotee, whatever. Or a brahmachari devotee is higher than grihastha devotee. Now that is not the consideration. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a grihastha, but he was very exalted. So we should not consider, oh, this is a sannyasi devotee, he must be a higher Maharaj, he must be a higher person, and this is a Grihastha devotee, he must be a lower person. No, that's not the consideration. Or he is a Western body devotee, he might be a low person. And this is an Indian Brahmana devotee, he must be a high person. That is also not the consideration. Varna, neither Varna or Ashrama. That is, we should not use those parameters to evaluate a sadhu. Beauty or wealth, these are very apparent things, but sometimes we get carried away. That devotee looks so effulgent for me. And then he nicely decorates himself, wears nice dhoti kurta, and then comes clean like that. That's also not a consideration for considering who is a sadhu. Sometimes he will have big, big projects, wealth, lot of movement he may do. That is also not a consideration for estimating a sadhu. Scholarship or followers. A person, this is a material scholarship we are talking about. The scriptural knowledge is very much required for a devotee. That is essential. However, We are not talking about just the textual scholarship like those people in the theological college they may do. The professors in theological college, they may be sometimes much expert than devotees who are actually practicing. But that's not an estimation for estimating a sadhu. However, a devotee is expected to know Shastra very nicely. We'll see in the second chapter of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that a devotee should learn Shastra nicely, and it increases his faith. And the knowledge of the Shastra is directly correlative to his faith in the bhakti process. Neither followers. This person has 1 lakh views, so he must be a good sadhu. I listen to him in the YouTube. That is also not the consideration. Position in an institution. He is temple president, or he is event organizer, or he is high commanding authority. Those are not consideration for estimating a sadhu. Then what are all the qualities of sadhu? What he should be? The first quality of a sadhu is Krishna Eka Sharana, that he is dependent on Krishna. How much he dependent on Krishna, that much he is a greater Vaishnava. How much he prefers Krishna conscious topics when he is discussing. How much he is addicted to Krishna. How much he is addicted to bhakti process. That much he is a greater Vaishnava. So the literal meaning of Krishna Eka Sharana means he is exclusively surrendered to Krishna. Of course, Krishna includes Vishnu, Rama, Narasimha, everybody, because Krishna possesses all these avatars within him. He is the avatari. Krishna Eka Sharana means he is exclusively surrendered to Krishna. That means he's not surrendered to anyone else. Means he's not surrendering himself to boss. He's not thinking my boss has to be so much pleased that otherwise my life is in trouble. He doesn't think like that. He also doesn't think that I have to worship the devatas. He's not dependent on devatas also for any problem that comes in life. Is Krishna Ekasharana. That is the main quality of a sadhu that should be there. The other qualities, like he should be merciful, there are so many qualities are there. He should be, in general, merciful person, tolerate whatever comes in his life, happiness or misery. Sama, he is impartial in failure and success. He is free from hatred toward others or trying to commit bad things to others. He is truthful, pure hearted, and he works for welfare of others. He is not agitated by lust in the heart. His intelligence is controlled. He and he is very gentle and peaceful in mind, and he is deep, and he does not get influenced by kama, krodha, lobha, moha, matsarya, the hunger or thirst. He is prideless, and he gives respects to others. He is expert, and he is non-duplicitous. And he is also learned. However, these are secondary qualities. All these qualities are secondary qualities. The primary quality is Krishna Eka Sharana. If a person has all these qualities, Dayalu, all these things, but does not have Krishna Eka Sharana, he is not a sadhu. This is the important quality. These qualities are secondary qualities. The other thing is also, he doesn't praise others or criticize others. And the reason that we are showing these qualities is we should know what is right and what is not right for a Vaishnava to have. For example, sometimes we may think that eating a lot of prasadam is actually a good quality of a Vaishnava, or eating an opulent prasadam is a good quality of a Vaishnava. We may think sometimes, huh? Or getting excited when somebody glorifies us, or getting angry when somebody criticizes us. We may be thinking that's genuine. A person should do, Vaishnava should do. No, he is sama. So these qualities are describing that what a Vaishnava should be respecting, what the Vaishnava should be desiring, what the Vaishnava should be aspiring for. If we see such a sadhu who has these qualities, if we just sit near them, we will see that bhakti shakti is emanating from them. And then we will feel more attraction. Sometimes some sadhus come to the temple and then we just sit near them and then we'll feel that we are becoming so attracted to Krishna just to be being with them. And then when you come out of their association, that will have a deep impact on your mind. Quite some time, you will be very much fixed on your devotional service. So therefore, it's important. Of course, sitting near a sadhu itself has that much potency. And what to speak of hearing from him? The main thing is to hear from him. What we hear from him? We hear from Krishna's name, Krishna, and about Krishna from his mouth. Those are the important things. So, this Krishna Ekas Sharana, more you are surrendered, more you will have attraction for bhakti process. Chanting holy name, everything person will have more attraction. The less we are surrendered, the less we have attraction for these things. So, looking at these qualities, then there is a confusion. We have all these qualities. We look like we are very far away from such a description of a sadhu. Most of the people won't fit into this, who are coming to the temple. So, can we go and offend all of these people? Because it says Sādhu Nindā. You should not do Ninda or criticize of the Sadhu, criticism of the Sadhu. And these are the qualities that are described by Krishna himself in 11th canto of who is a Sadhu. So, um, are we sadhus or not? What is it? And also, if you look at most of these qualities that we discussed in previous class, it describes a person who is in the stage of nishta. So, just going back here, see here, you see nishta. In this stage, most of the anarthas are gone. Then he will have these secondary qualities very steadily. So it looks like the person here is being described there. What about the persons who are below that? Is he a sadhu or not? Is she a sadhu or not? Before that, hmm, um, we should understand that Vaishnavas are of various categories. This, what is being described, is an ideal sadhu. But there are some sadhus who will have faults also. Those are what we are going to see next. Apparent faults of a sadhu. What a sadhu can have fault. These are good qualities. And what kind of faults he can have. He may have a bad birth, which means he might have taken birth in a poor family or a low class family. Or he may have bodily faults. He may be a handicapped person or whatever. He may have that. Or he may be carrying some fault because of his previous sinful activities before coming to bhakti. He would have gained a lot of unwanted behaviors. And that he will just carry on when he has come into bhakti uh, for some time. It will be going on. Or he may have some traces of fault. Even a person who is in the stage of nishta, he has controlled all the bad things, still some trace of fault may be there. And sometimes a very steady devotee may accidentally commit some fault. We should not think that, oh, the devotee has fallen down, what kind of person he is. He's a rascal or whatever. Accidentally means sometimes it happens and then quickly he recovers from that. All these are apparent faults. They will disappear soon. Bad birth, of course, we should not be distinguishing devotee by birth. Uh, the previous faults, previous unwanted behaviors a person has accrued, it will soon go away. So we don't need to worry about, we don't need to point out those faults. Other things will also disappear, sadhu soon. So, in a nutshell, if you go back to the bhakti path diagram, We have three classes of devotees: sadhus, Uttamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, Kanishtadhikari. So you see, those who are below the level of Shraddha but performing some bhakti, they are Kanishtadhikari. Those uh, who have acquired Shraddha for the path of bhakti, pure bhakti, and started their practice all the way until achieving the stage of bhava, they are Madhyamadhikaris. You see, Madhyamadhikari is a very broad term. And then we also have Uttamadhikari, who have Bhava and Prema. They are Uttamadhikaris. So sometimes when we talk about Madhyamadhikaris, we are talking about some persons in Asakti stage, some persons in Anishtita Bhajana stage also. So Madhyamadhikari is not just one stage it's referring to or one kinds of devotees. It's a very, very broad term. The Kanishta Adhikari is not a real Vaishnava. He's a Vaishnava Praya, like a Vaishnava. Looks like a Vaishnava, but he's not a real Vaishnava. The Madhyama Adhikari is a real Vaishnava. He practices sadhana bhakti. He practices sadhana bhakti every day. And he has a goal of achieving this love for Krishna, bhava. He wants to achieve. What is his goal? He is practicing bhakti. He wants to achieve love for Krishna. And he generally does bhakti practices, which includes chanting the holy names, etc. And he tries to avoid offenses. In the beginning stage of this Madhyamadhikari, there will be some faults, as we are seeing these anarthas, they will be existing in the beginning stages of this Madhyamadhikari. As he advances, the faults will disappear. So we should not be criticizing this person. This Madhyamadhikari is the most relevant for most of us because we have Shraddha, we have picked up the process of Shuddha Bhakti, but we have not achieved Bhava. So we are in this Madhyamadhikari category. So this is most relevant for most of us. But we should know the other classes of devotees also so that we are able to identify and we are also able to assess ourselves. So we will be delving into detail about who are all these adhikaris. The first person is Kanishta Adhikari. So in the conversation in the between Maharaj Nimi and the Nava Yogendras in the 11th canto, Maharaj Nimi asks the question, please tell me about the Vaishnavas. How do they look? What are all their symptoms? What are all their activities? How do they speak? What are all their characteristics? Please tell me. So then, one of the Navayogendras, he speaks these three verses which are describing Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Uttamadhikari. So the Kanishtadhikari is Archayam eva haraye, pujam yaha shraddhaya ihate. So this person worships the Lord in the temple with the Shraddha. He worships that person, worships the Lord. But then he doesn't respect or recognize the devotees. Na tat bhakteshu cha anyeshu. Others also he doesn't give any respect, neither to the devotees nor the others. That devotee is called prakruta or materialistic devotee or a kanishtadhikari. So therefore we say this person is a Vaishnava Abhas or Vaishnava Praya. He's not a real Vaishnava, he's like a Vaishnava. How then why will he worship? How did he get that ability to worship the Lord? Usually it is because of this customary faith. In India, because you may have some pious background, the person would have gotten acquired to worship Vishnu in the temple because of the family handing down the tradition. Customary faith he will have. He does not have a real faith of I need to attain love for God or I need to worship the devotees. Nothing he will have. He just goes to the temple, worships Vishnu and comes back. That person is Kanishtadhikari. Um, he may be chanting mantras every day. Hare Krishna mantra also he may be chanting. But he does not have a proper understanding of the scriptures. He has not taken shelter of a devotee. You need a guru. Guru, when we are talking about, not necessarily Diksha Guru, we are talking about a guru, which is Siksha. The main guru is Siksha Guru. He should be taking instructions from a devotee about how to perform bhakti properly. If he doesn't do that, then he is a Kanishtha. The only thing that is lacking in this devotee is that he is not getting association of those devotees who are practicing pure bhakti. He is not getting teachings from them. Because of the lack of association, he just goes to the temple, worships the deity, and doesn't care about anyone else. We might see sometimes some people will come to the temple, they worship the deity, and then they will go back. That's it, they don't care about anything else. They are Kanishtha. They are not real Vaishnavas, Vaishnava Paraya. So it is good for them that they come to the temple, that they worship the Lord, because that is putting foundation for them to get the association of the devotees sooner. So whatever they are doing is good. We are not criticizing them. Whatever they are doing is good. But this is of a lower category. Sometimes Mayavadis may also come and worship the deity. One time a person came, he looked at the deity, and then he was thinking, he was not offering obeisances. When people asked him, then he said that it is my own form that is standing there. So I don't need to offer respects. So this is a Mayavadi concept. So that person is not a Kanishta devotee. He's an offender. He's not even a Kanishta devotee. The Kanishta devotee is, he has some faith in the deity because of the family faith, and then he's worshipping the deity, but he doesn't recognize the devotees. Soon, when he gets the association of the devotees and knowledge of scriptures, he will become a Madhyamadikari. He has potential to become a Madhyamadikari. Then the next one is a Madhyamadikari. Madhyamadikari. Ishware tad adhineshu bhalisheshu dvisatsu cha prema maitri kripa upeksha yaha karodi saha madhyamaha. That person who does to Ishwara, he shows prema, love for Ishwara. He has affection for the Lord, number one. Number two, tad adhineshu, the devotees of the Lord. And to them, what he shows? Maitri, friendship. He shows friendship to the devotees of the Lord. And then Balisheshu. Balisheshu means those who are ignorant or who are lower than his stage in the process of bhakti. To them, what he shows? Kripa, mercy. Dvishatshu. Dvishats means those who hate the Lord, envious people, atheistic class people. Uh, to them, he shows upeksha. Upeksha means indifference. He doesn't care about them. These four qualities a Madhyamadikari should have and develop more and more. Love for the Lord, friendship with the devotees, mercy to the ignorant people, and avoid the envious people. Which means he should be able to differentiate who is a Vaishnava, who is not a Vaishnava, and who is below me, who is equal to me, who is above me. He should be able to distinguish. That is an important quality of a Madhyamadikari. If he doesn't distinguish, how is he going to show these qualities? How will he avoid envious people? And how will he give mercy? He cannot give mercy to somebody who is higher than him. He has to give mercy to somebody who is lower than him. And he has to show friendship to equal persons. And he has to serve the devotees who are above him. How is he going to do that if he cannot distinguish devotees properly? Therefore, this Kanishta Madhyamadi Uttama Adhikari qualities, as well as the path of bhakti, is very important for us to understand. So we practice bhakti properly. The first thing is affection for the Lord, we already know about this, so we'll skip that. The second one is to the devotees of the Lord, he should show friendship. So, what does friendship means? To associate with them, to discuss with them, and to serve them. This is what friendship means. And when we see such a Madhyamadikari, we should offer obeisances, we should greet, we should respect, we should discuss with him and do services. So, a Madhyama Adhikari, when he sees a devotee who is above him, he gives respect and he tries to serve that person. And he doesn't hate any of the Vaishnavas. He doesn't criticize them. He doesn't disrespect them. He doesn't look at their bodily ugliness or whatever condition and then despise them. He doesn't do that. That is friendship. Then the next one is mercy. How can he show mercy to people who are lower than him? The main mercy he shows is he is giving knowledge, instructions of the Shastras. He shows to them because those who are lower than him, they are in that stage and giving scriptural instructions along with the realizations will elevate them as well because they are seeking to follow that and he guides them to the next level. Just like a patient goes to a doctor and the doctor gives cure to the patient, this Madhyama Adhikari also gives proper instructions to those who are below him. Sometimes, when you are giving instructions to newcomers, what will happen? They may speak sometimes angry words or they may show some improper behavior. We should tolerate that, part of the preaching. That is also mercy. Sometimes they may not behave properly. We should tolerate them. And um, uh, we can invite the newcomers to our home. And then we can give them facilities, proper facilities, so that they are able to conveniently practice Krishna consciousness. We invite for home programs or whatever, and we may give them classes. That is good. You can give them convenience and you can serve people who are lower than you also. But that service is part of the mercy that this person is showing. Um, any questions so far? Anybody has? Okay. So, the Kanishta Adhikari that we discussed previously, that person is part of this Balisha. Balisha means uh, ignorant. So he shows to the Kanishta Adhikari also that some people who have acquired some faith in the Lord because of their family traditions, this Madhyama Adhikari goes and preaches to that person also, gives mercy in that form. That is Madhyama Adhikari. And he avoids haters, those who hate the Lord, those who do not have any faith in the Lord, those who think the form of the Lord is Maya, or those who think that I don't need to depend on God or anything like that, or they think that the whole world functions because of natural laws, there is no God in this entire world. These are the people who hate the Lord or those who criticize the Lord. We avoid them completely. The Madhyamadhikaris avoid them. Now, what does avoiding mean? We have to go to job, we have to work in the office. Huh? So, um, then should we not talk to them? What does it even mean avoiding? So, avoiding them means we don't discuss anything spiritually with them. No spiritual topics. If they bring up some spiritual topics, we just leave that place. If they talk about God or related topics, we just leave that. But we may have some business relationship manager, boss, we may need to report or we need to work with other peers. Those relationships, business oriented relationships, can be maintained, but we don't open our heart to them. We don't listen instructions from them. We don't take advice from them, but we maintain purely business relationship with them. That is okay. Sometimes we may have some relatives who are also offenders to the Lord. So we maintain just that particular relative relation with them. How are you doing? Good. Your health is good. That kind of relationship. The main thing is we should inspect our heart when we are associating with them, that we should not be liking that association. We should not be looking forward to that association of those people who are hating the Lord. That is not a good sign. So we should be detached internally from them and then maintain external relationship with them for the sake of moving in the world. And if some person is suffering, we can help them, definitely. That is okay. Even though he may be a hater of the Lord, we may help them to come out of the danger or whatever it is. That is okay. Okay. So, this Madhyamadikari, as we discussed previously, he chants pure name of the Lord, which means he carefully studies about the offenses and he tries to avoid those offenses in his process of bhakti. So, this Madhyamadikari, we respect this person by offering obeisances. The previous person, Kanishta Adhikari, we respect him in the mind. We don't need to offer obeisances. We don't need to do service to them as we serve senior Vaishnavas. We respect them in the mind. It's not like we won't criticize or disrespect. We respect them in the mind. And if they are willing, we provide them scriptural knowledge and help them. Um, um, but with this Madhyamadikari, we actually take their association. Whoever is higher than us. And Uttamadikari also, we take association. So, as we discussed, there may be some traces of unwanted behavior may exist in this person, Madhyamadikari also, especially in the initial stages. Huh? Soon they will disappear. So we don't need to so much point out that. If the person is properly doing bhakti process, that means every day he is continuing his bhajan and studying scripture or learning from somebody, then it is good. Soon it will disappear. All the bad things, bad, unwanted behaviors. The last one is a Uttamadikari. Uttamadikari, what he does is he doesn't distinguish between who is a Vaishnava, who is not a Vaishnava. He doesn't distinguish the grades of the Vaishnavas also, who is higher, lower, middle, doesn't distinguish anything. Rather, he sees Bhagavad Bhava in everybody. Bhagavad Bhava means he sees everybody is a devotee of the Lord. Huh? Everyone has love for the Lord. He sees them like that. We see in the case of, for example, the gopis, when they were, when Krishna left them in the rasa dance, the gopis were roaming in the forest and they were looking at all the different trees and animals and they were projecting their own love upon them. They are thinking, oh, the trees are just bending down because they want to offer fruits to Krishna. Oh, the deer is actually searching for Krishna everywhere, like that. But they are projecting their own bhava upon these living entities. Uttamadikari, he sees his own bhava in everyone. So therefore, he doesn't distinguish who is a Vaishnava, who is a not Vaishnava, like that. This person is a Uttamadikari. Because he doesn't distinguish who is a devotee, who is not a devotee, he is generally not a preacher. He does nirjan bhajan most of the time. He is generally not a preacher. He doesn't become guru also in general. It is the Madhyamadikari who becomes a guru, who becomes a preacher, who guides others. The Uttamadhikari generally is a Nirjan Bhajan. He just does Nirjan Bhajan. He doesn't involve himself in the material world usually. He is aloof. We have, however, exceptions like Narada Muni, for example. He is a Uttamadhikari, but then he preaches to everyone. But these are very rare cases, very exceptional cases. We don't have that as the common case. This is Uttamadhikari. So now moving on to the next section, how to be a sadhu. What are all the something practically we can do? We want to be a nice sadhu. In our um, uh, position, what can we aspire to develop? Now, previously, when we discussed the Krishna Eka Sharana and these qualities, should we develop all these qualities? Should we practice everyday humility? Should we study about humility and then just go on deeper and deeper and practice it? Should we try to become merciful? If we start practicing all these qualities, then we will give up our bhajan. We don't have so much time. These qualities are not needed to be practiced. They will come upon the devotee by the process of bhakti itself. We don't need to separately practice all these qualities. We focus on practicing bhakti, all these qualities will soon disappear onto the person. But we should have desire for these qualities. It's not that we don't care about these qualities. We desire these, but we don't need to separately practice any of this. We don't need to separately practice humility. We practice bhakti nicely. We try to understand the Shastra nicely. We try to avoid the offenses. That itself will lead us to gain all these qualities because these qualities are not material qualities. These qualities are spiritual qualities. There are people who will be merciful, tolerant, but he will not have bhakti to Krishna. That is a material quality. That being merciful and being tolerant, those are material qualities. But a devotee who has acquired these qualities just through the process of bhakti, those are spiritual qualities. So they appear just by the practice of bhakti. So, what do we practically do? So, for a Vaishnava or a sadhu in Grihastha life, so he should follow these things. He should avoid Markata Vairagya. Markata Vairagya means monkey renunciation. I am not going to eat opulent food. Today only the person would have decided. And then he will go and announce everyone. I'm going to not eat opulent food or something like that. Or any other vow he takes. Only to see after 6 months he is not able to withhold that vow. Then he falls back to his previous position. So this kind of markata vairagya or monkey renunciation he should not practice because it will only gather cheap publicity. It's not going to gather anything else. He should avoid that monkey renunciation. He should rather accept whatever is required, but developing detachment inside. Prasadam, this much is required, I'll accept it. Internally, I will cultivate a detachment. Not that he will just go on looking forward for in every program, looking forward for opulent prasadam. Or when a Chappan Bhog will come so that I can go and devour everything there. That's not what we are talking about. Internally, we have to develop detachment. Externally, we don't show off. Whatever is required, whatever is according to our qualification, we accept it. No, I have attachment to eating food. Accept, accept that level. But from there, practice detachment inside. Internally, you should have that nishta in the service of the Lord. Externally, you can have social behaviors. You need to interact with your office people. You need to interact with family relatives. You need to interact with other devotees. You need to have social life. Externally, we have good social life, but internally we should fix ourselves more and more in the service of the Lord. If a Vaishnava who has renounced the house, griha, then he has separate qualities. He should not try to follow these things. He should follow different qualities. But for that, we need to understand what does this griha mean? What is home? What does Vaishnava renounce the home means? We see that most of the Vaishnavas, even those who are renunciates, are living in a home. So, what does that home mean? So, this is described by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in second in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, when he attained the age of youth, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to. He was thinking about this. কতদিনে প্রভু চিত্তে করিলা চিন্তন গৃহস্থা হইলাম এবে চাহি গৃহোদ্ধার. After some days, the Lord thought, I did not take sannyas, and since I am remaining at home, it is my duty to act as a grihastha. So the Lord hasn't, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hasn't taken any sannyas, so he was thinking, I'm staying at home, what I should do? I should become a grihastha. গৃহিণী বিনা গৃহধর্ম না হই শোভন এটা চিন্তি বিবাহ করিতে হইল মন. Without a wife, grihini, there is no meaning to household life. There is no meaning to grihastha life. So it is that wife who is making the house a house. Therefore, it is said, Na griham grihamityahu grihini grihamuchyate tayahi sahitas sarvan purusharthan samashnute. Merely a house is not a home, for it is a wife who gives a home its meaning. Grihini. Because of this grihini, because of the wife, it is called griha. The main thing that makes a home is wife. If one lives at home with his wife together, they can fulfill all the interests of human life. So it is that wife, it is that marriage that makes a home a home. So when we say who have renounced griha, means it's not literally they have walked out of the house. They just have not got married. They are avoiding the marriage life. The modern day context, we have the brahmacharis who also avoid the marriage life, and sannyasis who also avoid marriage life. So it is those Vaishnavas that we are talking about here. Vaishnavas who have renounced the griha. They should not speak gramya katha, mundane talk. The grihasthas may have to speak mundane talk, part of his social behaviors, to maintain social relationship. Some gramya katha, how are you doing? What happened here? Like that. But the Vaishnavas who have renounced griha, they should never speak that. They should try to avoid luxurious food as much as possible. They should, as much as possible, avoid luxurious dresses. The grihastha may wear luxurious dresses, but internally he should also cultivate detachment. But externally he may eat luxurious food, but internally he should cultivate detachment. But here, these Vaishnavas who have renounced griha, they should externally cultivate renunciation also. And they shouldn't expect respect from anyone, and they should give respects to all. If we apply these qualities in grihastha life, then everything will become topsy-turvy. Oh, I am not going to talk any mundane talk. Today onwards, I'm a grihastha, but I will not talk. I will not glorify my wife. I will not encourage my children. I will not teach them anything. I will not have social life. Then it will become a problem here for the grihastha. If he does the same thing, that I'm going to give respects to everyone, I won't expect any respect in the sense of external behaviors, then that will also become a problem because there is a hierarchy in grihastha life. You should teach kids how to give respect. Youngsters, he should give respects to elders. There is the hierarchy he has to establish. Internally, he may cultivate these qualities. Internally, he may develop detachment from mundane talk or luxurious food, luxurious dresses, because Grihastha Vaishnava. But externally, he may have to engage there as is required. But these Vaishnavas should externally also cultivate these habits. And instead, they should focus on doing bhakti constantly. Bhakti includes chanting, deity worship, book distribution, so many things are there. And they should practice serving Radha Krishna in their mind. So this is how we try to become sadhu apart from our regular bhajan. So today we have covered who is a sadhu, what is a sadhu, what are all the qualities of the sadhu, what are the different kinds of sadhus, Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama, and how to become a sadhu. These sadhus, Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama, they should not be criticized. The Madhyama and Uttama are more, we need to be very careful. The Uttama, if somebody goes and criticizes, the offense is very serious. And in Madhyama, we have levels. And the higher level, very serious offense. And then it comes lower and lower of degree. And Kanishta, we don't offend them. We don't basically disrespect them. We don't, we rather offer obeisance or offer respects in our mind to them. We don't need to physically offer obeisances to Kanishta Adhikaris, but we respect them in our mind. So this is sadhu. Next week, we'll cover what is criticism, what involves criticism, and how to, if suppose we have committed criticism, how to come out of it, how to nullify that offense. So that we'll cover in next class. Any questions, comments, thoughts? Ananda Sundari Mataji, yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Please
Krishna,
accept my humble
Mataji.
obeisances.
That was
All Krishna
phenomenal.
Shri Prabhupada. Prabhu, thank you so much for your amazing presentation. I think one question I wanted to ask maybe would be answered next time, but just to be ahead of myself, and maybe you can
Yes.
think about it as well, especially in terms of criticism. You can totally answer it next week, Prabhu, but sometimes like you said, we should not criticize the devotees or the sadhus, remembering everybody is a work in progress, right? Everybody, Krishna is working with each of them, their apparent faults, that's what you said. But at the same times, we live, we breathe, we sit, we eat with all the devotees all the time. And we're also told in Srila Rupa Goswami's literatures that Guhyam Akhyati Prichati, so we should reveal our mind in confidence. So how can we distinguish when we're revealing our mind in confidence with our friends, with our trusted devotees, that we are not criticizing or fault finding about another devotee? Where should we draw the line? And I think just learning from you all the stages, we just want to be very, very, very clear that we are not crossing the line of sharing our heart, but at the same time not finding faults or not criticizing someone. But it's very natural as human beings that most of our problems comes from other human beings. So just that I was thinking about that. Maybe next class you can cover
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, good point. So basically, when we are opening our mind, we are sharing our feelings, we can put it from the point of like, I got hurt by
Mm,
this particular behavior of a Vaishnava. How do I
mm.
handle it?
Yeah,
Rather than pointing out
talking
the
about them.
faults
Yeah.
of the devotee. I think this also comes in, I think Vaisheshika Prabhu one time was mentioning that the devotees were going for book distribution, especially the kids, and somebody just shut the door on the face of them.
Mm,
They got too much affected by that. But then they all came together, they sat and uh, discussed how to process this rather than
mm,
trying to find out, why that person behaved like a rascal.
mm. Yeah.
So we can,
Sometimes, most of the times, it is our tolerance also. Most of the times, it's our
it is tested.
qualities
Our
that,
tolerance is definitely
yeah,
tested. The more you serve with the devotees, the more it is tested.
agreed. Totally agreed, Prabhu. Yeah, but just wanted to know what are the etiquettes in sharing. But thank you so much for shedding the light. I do want to ask my question, which is very much relevant for this session, if I can, if nobody else wants to ask.
Yeah,
I
go
can
ahead.
wait.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Prabhu, you mentioned, thank you so much. Prabhu, you mentioned that Uttama Adhikaris, because their heart is so soft, they're pure devotees of Krishna. They cannot perceive distinctions between who is a devotee, who's a non-devotee, right? And that's why they cannot function as a guru or a preacher. And you gave, there are rare exceptions like Narad Muni, and Srila Prabhupada is also, he was also, I think he fits that exception as well. But how do, it's at the same time, Madhyama Adhikari, Uttama Adhikari, that means it's an adhikar. It's something that we should know for ourselves, and also when we go and seek out a shelter of a pure devotee. So how do we self-assess, or how do we do that without falling into pride or self-deprecation? We should know for a fact for ourselves also, like you said, that where we are, but also if our goal is that high, we should also know that the guru we are approaching also falls in that category, because it's like an adhikar. Is that
So
right? Or if it's right?
if I understand your question, when I am judging others, I have to judge others because I need to identify and judge myself also. When I'm judging myself, I can become proud if I have good qualities. Or
How do I judge myself, that where do I stand? Because because most of the times we are told, right, of course we have to be humble, but I don't want to self-deprecate, but at the same time realistically judge where I am. At the same time, if we want to reach that highest goal of Krishna prema, we also have to take shelter of pure devotees. So how do we know who's a pure devotee, who's an uttamadhikari, or who's at that level?
so therefore, the only way to know who is actually devotee who is higher than us. We cannot obviously know who is a Uttamadhikari
Right.
because Uttamadhikaris are generally not available to common public.
That's true.
Because they
That's
are
so true.
doing Nirjan Bhajan, so they are not available. As you grow higher in the ladder, you will be able to recognize devotees on the top. But
I
lower in the
see.
ladder, we will be able to recognize immediately the next person. For example, a kid who is going to first grade may be able to recognize a person who is above him in the school. huh? But he will not be able to
Mm.
recognize the difference between a PhD scholar and a 12th grader.
True.
huh?
Yeah.
But if I
Yeah.
am 11th grade, I will be able to differentiate between who is a 12th grader and who is a PhD scholar.
Right. Right.
So
Because of your level of advancement.
as
Yeah.
we grow up in the ladder, we will be able to recognize more and more. And also that is appropriate as well because what is the use of a PhD scholar coming to a first grader and trying to help when, after all, a fifth grader can help a first grader how to learn?
So true. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. But you're also saying the pool of Uttamadhikaris is very, very, very.
But if somebody recognizes a Uttamadhikari who are upper in the ladder, the 12th
Mm,
grader will say, this guy is a PhD person. Then we
mm,
respect that particular person. For example, in the case of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, he and Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they recognized Vangshidas Babaji as in Bhav Bhakta. Vangshidas Babaji, otherwise we would not be able to recognize. If you look at the photo of Vangshidas Babaji, he would look like just a bum on the street. He will not
mm.
put a tilak or anything, he will not like a standard is devotee or like that. He will not look like that. But they were able to recognize it. So then all the devotees respect
Right.
him. They recognize them like that. So if they point out somebody is on that category, then we respect them. We try as much as allowed within our adhikar, we try to take their association as well.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu. That really helps. But it's not like majority of Uttamadhikaris descend to the platform of Madhyamadhikari for preaching
But
purposes. It's
rare cases.
very small, rare. Okay. Okay, Prabhu. That's eye-opening. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you, devotees. Thank you, Anandram Prabhu, Arun Prabhu, Bala Prabhu, Harsha Prabhu, and Krishna Prabhu, Shyamalagi Mataji. We'll stop here. Thank you for joining today. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Vancha
Vacha
kalpatarubhya kripa sindhubhye vacha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha anantakoti vaishnavadiki chanashri Prabhu.
Jai. Jai.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you,
Dandavat
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.